A deep change in the way that we live requires a deep change in the way that we think. I'm Carla Reeves, and this is Differently. Hey friend, have you ever noticed how life changes the terrain beneath your feet, sometimes without warning? One day you feel steady and confident and like you know the map and the way to go, and then all of a sudden things shift. Maybe it's a change at work, a transition at home, or simply a season of life that you weren't expecting. And suddenly the old ways of navigating things just don't quite work anymore. That's what I want to talk about today, because when the terrain changes, often we need to change our approach or our perspective. And learning to adjust that instead of fighting for what used to be or for what used to work is often the key to moving forward. This lesson comes up again and again in my private coaching work with clients and in my own life. I remember, just over the last couple of years, my approaches and the way that I do business has changed. The terrain has changed. And what I used to always do isn't what I need to do anymore. The approach has needed to change, and God has made that so very clear. There have been so many times that I was doing all the things that I always used to do to give me clarity and momentum, but they just weren't working anymore. Like I was just hitting my head against the wall over and over again. And when my natural instinct was to push harder or double down or keep doing what worked at one time, but all that did was exhaust me and make me feel even more stuck, until I eventually realized that this wasn't like a matter of my effort or my motivation or my drive or my ability to get things done. It was just new terrain, and new terrain often requires a new perspective, a new approach. And these are the moments that I love inside of coaching, because our circumstances don't have to change for us to feel entirely different. And friend, this is the heart of the Differently philosophy. The world tells us to keep doing, keep consuming, keep numbing out, keep hustling. But Differently is pausing and looking inward and taking responsibility for your mind, your body, and your spirit, and your God-given innate abilities that can change things for you, even when your circumstances don't change. When the ground changes under your feet, you can't keep staring at the outside world for answers, right? You can't keep looking to status or titles or other people's opinions or even what worked for you last year. That's old terrain. Instead, it's about shifting inside, turning inside and asking, what's happening? What's needed here now in this new season? While the world says, be distracted, and it's so good at distracting us, right? Just our phones are the ultimate distraction device. But what if you chose to be awake, to think for yourself, to stay alert? When the world says, serve yourself, what if your approach in this season is to serve others, to get outside of yourself? And when the world says, just go for that quick fix, just do that thing that's going to make you feel better right now, what if instead you focused and committed to the micro movements, the self-discipline, the hard things that are going to lead to that bigger thing that you're committed to over time? The old way often won't carry us across the new terrain. Maybe you're wondering, what does this look like in real life? And I want to give you some simple writing prompts or questions that you can try for yourself. So the first question is, write it down. What's changed? Get it out of your head. Like if you're feeling the change, it's real for you. So what's changed? Write it down. What feels different right now? What has literally changed in your circumstances or your terrain? Or maybe it's an internal change you're feeling, that the things you've always done just don't feel right anymore. You just can't continue doing those things because you've changed. Number 2, notice what no longer works. And write this down. You can ask, like, what's not working? What strategies or habits or patterns am I clinging to that just don't fit anymore? And the last one, what's needed now? If I were to respond in a new way in this season, in this new terrain, what's one small step that I could take in that direction? Listen closely. This is how you stop surviving on autopilot and literally start creating forward movement on purpose, especially in unfamiliar territory. Friend, life is always shifting and always changing, sometimes in small ways and sometimes in huge ways. You don't need to have the whole thing figured out. We just need to recognize when the terrain has changed and be willing to be adaptable and change our approach with it. That's the heartbeat of what I do and what I teach in the Differently brand. It's less about doing what the world says and more about tuning in and creating a way forward that's aligned and lasting and true. If this episode resonated with you, you can go back and listen to some of the past episodes on clarity or alignment or moving through navigating change. And if you want to explore this work more deeply, come join our free class next month or this month or get in a coaching partnership with me where we can walk through your unique terrain together. All the links are in my show notes. Until next time, lift your head up, dive inside, discover what needs to shift for you. Don't feel at the mercy of what's happening around you. You can always choose to create differently. And I have one more request. Will you, if you haven't already, left a 5-star review for the podcast? If you've been listening a while or this episode especially resonated, help me share it. Leave a review or share it with a friend today. I appreciate that so very much. In closing, have an amazing day. Take these questions to your journal. Get a pen and paper and write it out. You'll be amazed at what happens when you not only think through it, but write through it. My experience is that so much more comes out when you sit down to write. Okay, friend, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for listening all the way to the end. Before you move on with your day, pause and capture one thought or takeaway that stood out to you. Write it down so it doesn't get lost in the noise. And if you're ready to go deeper, come join me in my free monthly class, Conversation and Guided Writing, to help you see things differently and move forward with clarity. Save your spot, carlareeves.com/free class.